Hey everyone, I've decided to start a Basics of Grim Dawn series of videos. They're going to be sporadic, they're not going to be daily like the present Grim Dawn playthrough. And they're going to cover some extremely basic things about the game. So the first thing we're going to cover is something that's kind of a commonly asked question. And that is, what's the difference between flat damage and percentage damage? So flat damage is any damage that says, like on Iskander's Elemental Exchange here, like 34 elemental damage. 34 damage means that's 34 flat damage, and that is added onto all of your weapon attacks. So if we just start attacking the dummy here, you know, we've got, oh, where's that lightning bolt? Boop, boop, boo. Okay, so if we just start attacking the dummy, you'll see like 2s, 3s, 2s, 295, 218, 224, 200. So you see lots of 200s. So if we turn on Iskander's Elemental Exchange, you'll start to see it go up into the 300s a bit more with the attacks. That's because we've added on a chunk of elemental damage. It's not a huge difference at this point in the game, but it's noticeable enough. And as you go forward, if you have a character using basic attacks, they'll have about that much damage added in to the to their weapon attacks. And for percent damage, we're actually going to look at Trojan Sky Shards here. So Trojan Sky Shards has 899 cold damage as its elemental damage. And I'll also note right here, elemental damage, when it's flat damage, that 33 elemental damage is actually 11 fire damage, 11 lightning damage, and 11 cold damage. If you have percent elemental damage, that 15% elemental damage is 15% of each type. So when we look at our character here, the extra little bits, like that, I believe that's just his flat plus 6, I think, fire damage. Fire damage, or fire, lightning, and cold. Whenever it says elemental, it is just these three damage types. If it's flat, it's divided into thirds. If it's percent, it applies that entire percent to each elemental type. So if you're building cold, like this character is going to be predominantly cold lightning, getting percent elemental damage is great because it'll affect both cold and lightning. Whatever tiny bits of fire damage he deals, he'd get a percentage onto that if he gets percent elemental damage. So this is key. The flat versus percentage thing is key because you have attacks like Kalidor's Tempest here, which have main hand damage, and that's where the flat elemental damage is taken into account. Trojan Sky Shards does not gain anything from the flat damage of Iskander's Elemental Exchange. So we can take and put another point in this, and it'll jump it up to 46. Still 899 cold damage. But if we do basic attacks, we should see just a tiny bit more damage. So 344, 353, you'll see more damage from your basic attacks with that. So if we put a point in overload, this should go from 899 to a very awkward 911 cold damage. So the percentage damage from this will apply to all of your abilities that both have elemental damage, and that percent will apply to the elemental damage you deal with your swinging attacks. So that is the distinct difference between the two. If we look at, say, the Shaman's Savagery ability, you'll see it has both lightning damage and percent lightning damage. That means with Savagery, if you were to put a point in this, if you were to put a point in Savagery and use it as your basic attack, you're going to be dealing the flat lightning damage, and that's also going to be modded by the percent. So you're going to have both going on in that case. Now, when it displays the damage in the tooltips, especially for well, I obviously demonstrated it. When it displays damage that is sort of general percent damage in tooltips, that already takes into account all of the percentage damages from all of the sources it could have. So in this case, the 12 lightning damage already takes into account that 8% lightning damage. And then the 18 bleed damage over 3 seconds, that 8% bleed damage is already being factored into this. The reason they show it here is because every time you put a point in this, it would increase with level. So that every time you swing with Savagery, you deal a little more lightning and bleed damage. So that is, in a nutshell, damages, flat versus percentage. I have no idea what I'm going to be covering next time, because this is going to be kind of a sporadic series throughout the next couple weeks. As I think of things I can show, or as things people ask me about, I will make videos for them, and it's going to be varying characters as well, because certain characters can show off certain things better than other characters. So anyways, thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time.